welcome back to my channel, everyone. So today I want to talk a bit more about imposter syndrome. I feel like even as someone who had 8+ years in the corporate tech world, I still feel like an imposter sometimes. And it wasn't until recently that I feel I finally overcame a very big chunk of this imposter syndrome hurdle. And that was because I felt like in the past that I'm not good enough. Who will listen to me? Or why would they even trust me? And things like that. Even as I was working as a marketer in tech, sometimes I'm so scared of people finding out that, oh, I don't know this, I don't know that. But I realized one of my really great traits is that even if I don't know something, I will just tell people, I'm not sure yet, let me get back to you. Or let me do a bit more research and I'll bring it back to the next meeting. And so with that, I developed this knack for very quick research. So if there's a certain topic I don't know, within a few hours, not maybe to an expert level, but in a way that I can master it and can quickly utilize it in the next project or share it in the next meeting. So the things can keep moving forward. But I thought about why I kept having imposter syndrome. And I feel as someone growing up in an Asian culture, I'm Taiwanese myself. And so for me, it's a lot of, oh, just keep your head down, just keep working, don't question things, don't say anything that's out of line, and just keep doing that. Then that also leads into, I need to know all of my stuff so I can keep doing good work and to also be recognized potentially, because we believe in working so hard to be eventually recognized, right? We feel the work will speak for itself. But to be honest, working in tech and North America environment, I realized there are times you really should just speak up about your achievements and what you've done, because not everyone on earth can actually be a true expert. There's always still going to be something that even the expert doesn't know yet, right? So staying in a childlike or curious mindset, an open mindset, will allow us to accept that all of us are beginners in certain points, or intermediates, or experts, but not all of us can be expert in all facets of our field. And I think that can also be a bit liberating, that we don't have to feel so overwhelmed that we have to have all this knowledge or know all these skills, know how to do everything, because that can be very tiring. And that for me also bleeds into a perfectionistic tendency. We want to do everything so well and be so perfect, but this standard is very different from person to person. Your perfect might not be my perfect. And so how I overcame my own limiting beliefs, like what I said earlier, why would anyone listen to me? Why would people trust me? Especially as I build my business, the more I do things, I'm like, oh my gosh, I don't know this. I need to figure this out before the clients finds out or something like that. But then as I talk to my clients in sessions, they're always like, wow, you bring so much value to our coaching sessions. It's not even coaching anymore. And that's why I honestly have a tough time labeling myself as a coach, because I'm such a hybrid. Like, I'm a consultant, mentor, coach. And so I just feel because I can give so much on the spot, if you tell me your problem, I can most likely give you so many different ideas and approaches that's actually natural and easy for you to take on. Because I find sometimes when people give solutions or advice, it's very hard for the other person to adapt, because that expert already framed it in a way that works in their mindset, but you're not stepping in the other person's shoe per se. So anyways, long story short, I wanted to also share the 5 tips that I've used to help me bolster these empowering beliefs within myself instead of limiting beliefs, because I believe when we have empowering beliefs in our day-to-day, it can help us thrive even more and help us remember that we're already enough. We are good enough, and we don't really need someone else to validate that for us. Even, for example, me doing this YouTube, people are like, oh, you could do this, you could try this, you can optimize this. But for me, if my content is good enough in my eyes and it does help some people, I already feel like that's a success, right? Obviously, there's always something else to tweak, there's always something else to optimize, but you're already enough is what I want to get at. So the first tip that has helped me is looking back at my testimonials from clients, from coworkers, the corporate world, And just seeing like when people work with me, this is what they felt. This is how they perceived me. This is how the kind of value they got from me. And a lot of times you can tell when someone's very genuine with their testimonials and their feedback. So I have a lot of those and I save them in a folder, and sometimes I would revisit it whenever I'm feeling, oh, I don't know what I'm doing, or I'm feeling a little bit not confident. And that has helped me. So that lends itself into tip number 2, where there are times when it's super helpful to revisit our past accomplishments and achievements. Again, whether it's in your corporate career or it's in your solopreneurship journey, business building journey, even a small win, helping someone change their mind so they open their mind to something else. Like, it doesn't always have to be like what we see online. I helped this person make like $1 million. Well, that's still good to celebrate, but there's always something, maybe something we think it's small, but it might have been a big impact in someone else's life. And that's how you can start sharing your wisdom and your achievements from a place of groundedness, because it's not very boastful or arrogant. It's you're just sharing what you've done and helped other people with, and people can feel that. When I said my example earlier, I wasn't trying to boast, like in my past video where I said I helped a lot of people resolve their marketing and business and tech problems in under an hour or 30 minutes, depending on which coaching session package they bought. But that's the reality. That's the transformation I was able to provide with someone. And a lot of them wrote out in their testimonials, which is on my website. And so when I look back, I'm like, I am good enough. I can do all these things, and I have a lot of value and skills and experiences to provide to other people. That also reminds me of tip 3, which is there are times when we have a lot of challenges. So if we think back into our childhood, let's say you were learning how to ride a bike, right? We probably all started with like a tricycle, and then you have to do like one wheel off and then another wheel off, and then eventually you can ride a bike by yourself, right? That's overcoming challenges, as we would say. But as we grow older, challenges look in different shapes and form. Right? But I try to remind myself like that. Back in the days of learning how to ride a bicycle, we all start somewhere. We don't like go from baby to being able to ride a bicycle next day. Like, it takes a bit of time to learn all the things we need to learn, or lean on the resources we can, and then overcome these challenges. So I like to revisit some of my past challenges to be like, you can do hard things, or they were hard because you don't know how to do them yet, but look at you, you can do them now, or do something even better. Or because you learn these things, now you integrate it with a lot of different things. The other thing that's been really helpful for me, and it's something that's actually used in therapy, I forgot the exact term for this methodology, but it's essentially weighing what's facts and what's not facts. If you think of a judging system, it's like that scale. And so when you have a negative thought, or you feel like, oh, I'm not good enough, or all these imposter syndrome things that pop into your brain, you start listing what are the facts. Are you actually not good enough? And then you also do the other things where you are good enough. You list that all out. If it's the facts actually weigh out what your assumptions are or imaginations are, then you really should go for the facts, which is you are good enough. You already know how to do certain things. You have all these skills and experiences to share with someone. So this helps you make a more rational verdict at the end of the day, because our brain loves to make all these stories. That's truly what it is. Like, a lot of us, when we're so emotionally driven, it can really hinder our thinking process, our decision making. So, and influences how we talk to ourselves. It's like one bad thing happens and we're like, oh, this is the end of the world. But is it truly the end of the world? Most of the times it probably isn't. And because we were on the topic of therapy, my 5th tip would be doing this inner work for yourself. Whether you go to therapy or not, that's up to you. Therapy has been a part of my process to do the inner work, where it's helping me figure out where is this imposter syndrome rooted in. And as I was alluding earlier, it's part of the Asian culture. Also comes from my family. I've gone growing up a lot of, hey, you're not good enough, or you need to do better, or I even had moments in my past where my family has told me, look, I wish you were a son. And so that has been a big impact on me, because I'm always trying to prove myself. I'm trying to do so much. I'm trying to do good enough. So I'm trying to learn a lot and do a lot of research and all these things. But I still don't feel it's enough, like, because I feel like I need to be perfect. How can I be perfect though? Because I'm constantly chasing. I don't know when it ends. So this imposter syndrome can come from, like I said, your culture, your family, could be from your past career experiences, your friends, your partners. It could come from different facets. But once we do the inner work and really talk to ourselves and really come to terms with ourselves, a form of acceptance that we don't really need external validation. It's good in some sense. For example, if you're building a product and no one's giving you any good feedback or no one's buying it, then maybe we need to think of what's going on. But a lot of times it's more of, I can validate myself. So even if certain things don't go the way I want it to go, or the success is not what I imagine it to be, but I need to remind myself, is what I'm thinking things should be based on what other people think, or is it what I personally deep down think? And usually when I ground it in, no, I think this is good enough, I'm gonna do it. Especially like, again, I'm filming these YouTube videos now. I already think they're good enough. They might not be perfect, might not be set up for going viral or getting so many views, but I think it's at least one step forward in this journey as a content creator. So these are my 5 tips and the kind of mindset shifts, as well as some healthy habits that I'm instilling in my day-to-day. And I hope that helps you as well. I'm curious what other tips you might have for me or for the community in terms of how you're overcoming imposter syndrome. Until next time, if you like this kind of content, please share it and subscribe and like. I'll see you next time. Take care.